Hi, I'm Katie Fehrenbacher, and I'm a senior writer for GreenBiz, and I'm here in the GreenBiz studio with Brennon Morioka, who's the general manager of electrification for Hawaiian Electric Company. How are you, Brennon?
Very good.
Great. So tell us a little bit about what HECO is doing in terms of helping Hawaii meet its electric vehicle goals.
Well, it's a very exciting time right now for the utility, for Hawaiian Electric and all of our companies. And not just for the utility, but for the state in general, because of the kind of momentum that we're really having, both from the level of business support to the level of political support for electrification of transportation, because of a real effort towards clean and renewable energy within the transportation sector. And for me, coming from the transportation sector myself, and not really having been in part of the energy or the utility sector before, it's been really refreshing to see the kind of connections that we're making in terms of putting two different sectors that have never really talked to each other, but have been really related, but also disconnected. And so just being a part of that effort has been very exciting. And the Hawaiian Electric Companies submitted our Electrification of Transportation strategic roadmap to our PUC in March. And we're looking forward to being able to move forward on it. And it really lays out a groundwork for what we believe to be some of the initial initiatives to increase EV adoption. And EV adoption, or EOT in general, because it's not just only about electric cars, it's about the harbors, the airports, transportation as a whole. But EOT in general is really meant to help the state integrate more renewables into our power system, provide a cleaner environment by reducing carbon emissions, and increasing Hawaii's energy security, because we're the most fossil fuel reliant state in the country. And so if we're able to reduce the amount of fossil fuels we need to import, the more control we have over our own economy. And so those are some of the biggest things. And then ultimately the end goal is providing benefits and value for all of our customers, whether you own an electric vehicle or not.
So what can a utility do to boost EV adoption? What are some unique things that a power company can do?
Well, you know, we are beginning to understand some of the obstacles or barriers for people to actually purchase an EV. And number one is that initial upfront cost. It does cost a little bit more to buy an EV right now or today until about 2023, 2025, when people think that cost parity will occur. And so working with dealerships, working with car manufacturers on finding out how we can control prices, offering rebates. So we work very closely with BMW, Nissan, to try and offer our utility customers rebates for some of the electric vehicles that are very popular here in Hawaii. But also, part of our initiative is to seek how the utility can get approvals to install charging infrastructure, because number one, people want to make sure that they know that they can charge, whether they're just driving around town near their home or driving all the way out to Waianae or the North Shore. They want to feel comfortable that they're not going to run out of quote unquote gas or fuel. So making sure that the utility is able to provide some kind of minimum backbone charging network to really alleviate that range anxiety and make people feel comfortable getting into an electric vehicle regardless of where they're going to be going. But also helping reducing that upfront cost for some of the charging providers so that they can also make business cases and invest in our economy here in Hawaii.
How is Hawaiian Electric going to deal with the influx of electric vehicles on the grid? So, all these electric vehicles charging at certain times when people come home, it can really put some strain on the grid. So how is that going to be dealt with?
Right. So, and that's why EOT is really coming in at the right time for the utility, because the Hawaiian Electric and all of our companies are going through what's called our grid modernization program that really looks a number of years out to adjust or meet the demands in the future, including electric vehicles. And so EOT is just one aspect of our grid modernization program. And so we work very closely with other programs like distributed energy programs, our demand response programs. And so we really want to look at the electric vehicles on the grid as an asset that we can then use and maybe pass on other benefits and savings to our customers, because we're able to utilize technologies very differently. So we need to be looking further out as a utility, and I think that's exactly what we're doing, which is why it's a very exciting time for us.
And beyond EVs, is there anything you want to see in terms of transportation to lower emissions? I know you were previously with the HEART project. So in overall, to reduce emissions for transportation in Hawaii, what do you think needs to be done?
Well, really looking at transportation holistically, looking at mobility as a whole, whether it's driving in your cars, riding an electric bus, riding the electric rail, but also bike sharing, car sharing programs that we can also look to see how we can electrify as well. So working with TNCs like Uber and Lyft is also very important to us as well, because we need to really look at the overall way that people travel and where they want to go, where they live, where they work, where they play, so that we can really kind of look at everything a little bit more comprehensively.
All right, Brennon, well, thank you so much. We appreciate your thoughts and for joining us in Green Biz Studio.
Appreciate the time.